Three, two, one. All right, here we go. Sports Bet Betting Insight today. Pauly and Teddy, SBR picks. All the betting news you need to know in less than 20 minutes. I'm at Real Sports Bet on Twitter. He's at Teddy_covers. We'll get to big game breakdown, rapid fire, the Cleveland Jets game, and 3 college games coming up. A loaded slate Thursday and Friday. A good story from FanDuel in New Jersey, and a great job by William Hill putting a couple props up in the NFL. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. Bad for the books. Almost all the moves got there last night. Dodgers 190 up to 220. Taylor with the walk-off bomb in the 10th. They were in 3-2, a game and a half lead over the Rockies. Nats 190 up to 230. Yankees 130 up to 160. Cut it out. It's not Tanaka. It's not Severino. Happ is starting if there's in the play-in game. They haven't lost since he was acquired in the trade. Great job by Happ. They win 3-2. Red Sox have to wait to clinch.
Yeah, and look, when you talk about betting September baseball, the public's not doing it at any kind of real level. It's sharp money, and the sharp money, when it comes to September 8th, they got an idea. What are the lineups going to be today? What are the nuances? When you're following baseball full time, once the attention has shifted to football, you expect some of these moves to come through like they did last night. Not hard to lay a price with Strasburg against Miami. The Red Sox don't care. Not hard to lay a price with the Yankees. They got steamed up. The Indians, bet against that awful Chi Sox team last night. You would expect a fair few of these moves to cash in. And certainly last night was one of those nights where most of them did.
Yeah, Kluber again, 50-cent move on the Indians. It gets there, and they cover the run line as well. One move that didn't get there, bad bet. Padres 140 up to 170. Giants win again after losing 11 in a row. They've won 4 of 5 and one bad beat. Easy winner, play of the day. Cardinals plus money. Although if you had the under, condolences, under 8.5. 2-1, top of the 8th. Cardinals explode for a 4 spot in the 8th and a 2 spot in the 9th. It goes over with the 8-1 win. 8 straight home losses for the Braves against St. Louis, and they're 4-14 their last 18 home games as well. Controversy, FanDuel. In-play wagering. Broncos were actually the favorites, -$5 or $6 to win the game against the Raiders. They had the ball, and they were driving less than 2 minutes, but they put up a big price, 75 to 1. Guy put $100 on it, 750 to 1. Guy put $100 on it, and he wasn't even watching the game, so he says. He wins the ticket, and they offered him $500 and 3 tickets to a Giants game. He hired an attorney. I talked to John Murray from the Westgate earlier today. They haven't been on a big mistake like this. Well, they had mistakes where they had a pick 'em on a game that was a 50-point spread on an added game. A guy bet $1,000 on that game. He said they had to pay. Tickets graded as goes as written, however you want to say it. But I'll be surprised if they have to pay this. This is ridiculous. This is an egregious error. This is a glitch. I can't believe they're going to have to pay $80,000 on this.
Yeah, and what's the right answer here? It's not clear. What is clear is that FanDuel made a mistake, and it has the potential to be a very expensive mistake. When you're supposed to put -500 as the line, and instead you have +75,000 as the line, that's a big mistake. In Vegas, as you mentioned, it goes as written. So when a book makes an expensive mistake like that, they learn their lesson. And those type of mistakes don't happen again and again. And really, when it comes to repeat offenders, somebody loses their job and the next guy gets trained right. And that's the way it works. In New Jersey, the rules aren't fully established yet, so we don't know what's going to happen. I don't blame the guy for refusing the $500 and 3 Giants tickets. The Giants tickets aren't worth anything. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. These are the type of controversies that it makes sense to look at the model that's worked, the Nevada model, as opposed to trying to figure it out on the fly and letting bettors. And obviously the guy was angle shooting. If he wasn't watching the game and he saw +7,500 with the team at the 18-yard line going in to kick a field goal, yeah, you're going to run up to the window. But he had the physical ticket in his hand. That's worth something, even if it was a bad line, a very bad line, and a very bad mistake for FanDuel.
Yeah, $75,000, please. This is from David Purdom, ESPN Chalk. In the UK, where FanDuel owner Paddy Power Betfair has operated for decades, mistakes in the odds are called palpable errors and generally result in voiding the bets. See how New Jersey handles it? It's different in Nevada. FanDuel's house rules state that where a blatant or palpable error is made and offers made prices, or bets accepted in the transmission of any event in which we have purported to offer live betting. Bets may be settled to correct price at the time at which the bet was placed, as determined by the FanDuel book. You're right. It could be a costly mistake, but it would be unfortunate if they would have to pay here. I mean, it's so obvious that, I mean, come on, 750 to 1. Give me a break. They're actually a $5 or $6 favorite. Who are we kidding here?
Well, sure. They're at the 18-yard line. There's the clock's ticking out, and they're about to kick the game-winning field goal. If I saw plus 7,500, I'd be all ears as well. But just because you see it doesn't mean they're going to pay you on it. And if they do pay them, they'll never bet at FanDuel again. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I'll tell you who had the best line was Scott Van Pelt last night. He did it on SportsCenter on one big thing. He goes, when the IRS sends you a check for $240,000 and it's a mistake, do you cash it and get to keep it? No, it's not how it works. Good job by William Hill US on Twitter. William Hill here in the States. Good job putting this prop up. Will a team go 0-16 this year in the NFL? Yes, 11 to 1. You got to lay no minus 1,600. Bills and Cardinals combined wins 5.5 under minus 150. I think they'll win a game, but I'll tell you, it's hard to look at that schedule and you're going to see they're going to combine for 6 wins. I can tell you that after watching the shit show the first couple of weeks.
Sure, but seasons aren't made in the first couple of weeks. Both teams will be going with rookie QBs at some point this season. I got a Bills under 6.5 ticket in my pocket prior to all the chaos with Buffalo and the money coming in. They closed 5.5, but I'd rather have Bills under 6.5 than 2 teams under 5.5 2 weeks in, for what it's worth.
I'd go under on that, no doubt. And we'll see. I don't care who plays quarterback for Arizona. Their offense has been a joke. Can't protect the quarterback. Bradford had 17 completions for 90 yards as they were skunked by the Rams, and now they take on the Bears, and they're catching 6 at home. Big game breakdown. Here we go. Browns against the Jets tomorrow night, NFL Network. Brownies are 3, minus 120. 39.5 the total. I do not like the spot for the Browns. They should be 2-0, and they don't have a win yet. They had to cut Gonzalez. How does Hugh Jackson not know he has a groin injury, too, by the way? As he misses 2 extra points and 2 field goals. The Browns thought they were going to win, and they lost the damn game. Now they trade Josh Gordon. That's another controversy they have to worry about. That's in the news. The players have to ask about that. Although I do know this. They have a good defense. So far, so good. They've shut down Pittsburgh, and they've shut down the Saints on the road, too, with the Saints. Very impressive what they did. Darnold comes in after the so-so performance at home in the loss against the Dolphins, and we all know this about the Browns. They cannot win on Sunday, but this game's on Thursday. So they haven't won since December 2016. We'll see if they can get a win here and finally end the shenanigans and finally get a W.
They haven't won since 2016. They haven't been a favorite. I'm sorry. They were pick'em / -1 at Indy in week 3 last year. They lost that game by a field goal. But last time they were a home favorite, last time they were favored by 3 or more, week 14, 2015. They were 3.5 against the Niners. They won that game 24-10. Yeah, that was pre-Hugh Jackson. Let's put it that way. Mike Pettin was the head coach then. But we have to talk about, especially early in the season, very early in the season, strength of schedule disparity. All right. The Browns just played the Saints and the Steelers, and we're both looking at, maybe the Saints aren't any good this year. Oh, maybe the Steelers aren't any good this year. Well, maybe that's because they both played Cleveland. Whereas the Jets played the Lions in an awful game and a Dolphins team they're 2-0. But of all the 2-0 teams, I think Miami's gotten the least hype. Nobody's particularly excited about the Dolphins going undefeated this season. So from a strength of schedule standpoint, Cleveland's battle tested. The Jets, not so much. Of course, when we talk about this spot here for the New York Football Jets, it's very key to talk about this because this is why Cleveland is favored by a field goal, and we're seeing the money's come on Cleveland so far. I don't think it gets to 3.5, but it's 3 with some juice right now. And that's all about the spots for the Jets. Remember, they played Monday Night Football, rookie QB, then a short week off Monday Night Football, then a poor performance against the Dolphins. Now another short week, very short week, and they have to travel on the road. We saw what Baltimore looked like when they had to travel on the road in a short week. It's not easy for the road teams, particularly for the road teams coming off a short week the week before, particularly for the road
Nope.
teams with a rookie quarterback. So you can understand why there's some reluctance in the market to look at the Jets as a live side in this ball game. I went back and looked to see what happened after the Lions broke their losing. Remember, the Lions, the only other team to go 0-16. When they broke their losing streak, they had two games the next season they won. They weren't blowouts. They won by 5, and then they won by 1. That being said, I just get the gut feeling that when the Browns end this streak, it's going to come like 31-7, not 14-13. And when Cleveland wins, they're going to cover the number. But all that being said, you want me to lay points with the Browns, Pauly? Not even maybe.
No. And I'll tell you something else either. Good luck with this Browns offense. I mean, Taylor's been terrible so far. Made one play on 4th down, that long touchdown pass to Callaway. Their offense has stunk so far. Under 39.5 in this game for me. I don't know where the points are coming from. And good point, though, about the home teams crushing at ATS on these Thursday night games. It's Thursday, 4:30 Pacific, ESPN, Temple and Tulsa. Temple 7, 55.5 the total. Tulsa was down 21-0 at Texas, made it a game, and then they lost. They went off the favorite last week against Arkansas State and lost by 9. I'll tell you, Montgomery is not doing a good job with Tulsa. Is his 4th year. They were 2-10 last year. Look how the mighty have fallen. 10-3.
Well, sure. I mean, this team was 11.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, Paul. Oh, I was going to say they were 11-3
ahead.
in 2012, and they went 3-9 and 2-10 the next 2 years. So Philip Montgomery comes in. He goes 6-7 his first year, 10-3, and then 2-10. So you're talking about, mediocre, really good, really bad, all like that. This is a team that, again, just 1-2 on the season here. Talking about 3-12 in their last 15 ball games. They have not been a quality squad. And of course, there was one group that was really good for Tulsa. A team that hasn't won on the road since 2006. Dane Evans and Kevin Lucas and Josh Atkinson. That offense was really dynamic. Those guys graduated. It hasn't been the same since. And the quarterback Luke Skipper this year, he's showing signs. Here's a quote from Jeff Collins, by the way, talking about the opposing QB. He has a really nice command of the offense. He throws a nice deep ball. He's accurate. What also scared me is he can hurt you with his feet. Skipper, a dual threat for Tulsa. The receiving talent he has to throw to, however, mediocre at best.
Temple's been interesting. I talked to Mark Lawrence. He really likes Collins, thinks he's a good coach, although he struggled as a dog. He wins the games he's supposed to. They were double-digit dogs last week against Maryland and won by 21. And then earlier in the season, they were 2-touchdown favorites and got beat by Villanova. So they're an interesting team this year. What do we know about Frankie Bag of Donuts? Is he going to play quarterback? Is he healthy?
Yeah, he's looking like a game-time decisions, Frankie Bag of Donuts. Newtile, man. Frankie Newtile. Here's a quote. Frankie Newtile has been practicing a little more than last week, but probably will still be a game-time decision. Offensive tackle Jimmy McHale will probably be a game-time decision. The same with kicker Aaron Bumeri. He's going to be a game-time decision. Temple beat this team 43-22 in the season finale last year. But, the offense is all one guy right now. It's Raquel Armstead, the running back, 54 carries, 256 yards. He's the whole offense, especially with QB concerns for the Owls. And that makes me a little bit reluctant to lay a touchdown with the Temple team. It's okay to like Temple. I don't know if I'm excited about laying a touchdown with a team that doesn't have a particularly dynamic offense.
Yeah. All right. This is a good game. Friday, 4 o'clock, ESPN. The team with the longest winning streak in the country, the national champs last year, Central Florida, laying 13.5, 75 at home against Florida Atlantic, Kiffin against Heupel, and they had the canceled game last week. They start off with a blowout win against Connecticut and then beat South Carolina State, but they have one of the best quarterbacks in Milton, Heisman candidate, and with Florida Atlantic, they got last year they had a great season, won 11 games and thumped Akron in the bowl game. Early on, they had problems because they had guys suspended, transfers, didn't know who the quarterback was going to be. Remember, they had Driscoll last year, won 11 games. He's in the NFL now, doing a good job backing up Dalton. So now they were blown out by Oklahoma. couldn't put away Air Force last week, or 2 weeks ago, that bad beat with the block punt as well. So the Knights at home laying 13.5. But you have some good info here about you compare, and it's a good job branding the conference Power 6. Good job by the AAC. It's a hell of a league with Memphis and Navy and Houston and Central Florida. And what they did last year, something Alabama couldn't do. They beat Auburn, and Milton was 2 of 17 at the half of that game and still kicked their ass. Big difference between the Conference USA and the AAC.
Well, exactly, Pauly. Excuse me. But when you talk about the Power 5 and then the others, there's a pecking order in the others. And the AAC is the 6th best conference, period. It's not even close. Conference USA, I mean, they're competing with the Mountain West this year. You know what I mean? They're not at the same level, which explains this point spread. And you talked about it. UCF, they're beating good teams. They beat Memphis twice last year, Navy, Maryland, Auburn. It's the first year under Heupel, but they still have the senior quarterback. FAU under Kiffin, they lost to Navy by 21, by 23 last year. They lost by 17 to Wisconsin. And they didn't face another quality foe until Oklahoma in week 1, and they got annihilated in that game. You talked about they put Air Force away in that contest, and they couldn't. Here's what Kiffin says about his opponent this week. Height, weight, speed, the players, the size of the guys. It's like playing an SEC opponent. I don't know if I want the dog here. At the same time, we talk about the favorite. There's a little value problem with UCF right now. I don't want the team that have only faced weaklings and beaten the crap out of them, and now we're laying a big price. And the only thing UCF has faced, weaklings. UConn, South Carolina State, and the rainout against USC. It doesn't mean a team can't step up just because they haven't, but oftentimes you're not getting the right price to back a team to step up after pounding foes that couldn't hang tough with them. Interesting game to watch. Tough one for me to bet on.
Yeah, that's a bad break for them. They were supposed to play Carolina. It got canceled. And then last year, they had a game canceled as well. Same type of deal. So, but 13-0 last year, they returned 12 starters. Milton had 37 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. And he was up to a great start, what he did against Connecticut, and then the home game against South Carolina State. The get-out game, 7:30 Pacific, ESPN. Good schedule. Oh, boy. USC at home against Washington State. USC 3.5 and 58 the total. Huge game for Clay Helton. Huge game for T. Martin, the OC. Too bad this game isn't on the road. If they lost, they could pull a Kiffin and fire him on the tarmac. They were out. They didn't score in the final 3 quarters against Texas. They led that game 14-3. Outscored 31-0 the rest of the way. And the Pirate doing another good job. 3-0 so far. The Cougars had a horrible situation, that tragedy where the quarterback committed suicide. But Gardner Minshew has put up great numbers so far. Good quarterback, although they have beat Wyoming, Eastern Washington, and San Jose State. But I'll tell you, hot seat time if Clay Helton loses this game at home. Natives will be restless.
Oh, no question about it. And you talk about that schedule disparity. Here's a USC team that just played Stanford and Texas, and a Washington State team that's been feasting. I mean, Wyoming's got an okay defense, but nothing like what they're going to see here. And, of course, what happens? USC struggles. Point spread drops. Washington State looks good. Point spread drops. And we're sitting here with the spread of 3.5. Good week of practice for the Trojans this week. I saw some quotes from Clay Helton. He was excited that the team was battling, and there was a scrum, and there were, it was a little bit chippy. And that's what he was looking for. The biggest challenge, 2 back-to-back road games, 2 physical games, emotional games. I was really looking forward to seeing how they were in practice, and I thought their emotions were excellent. Thought they came out and competed their butts off. So certainly a USC spot after Washington State has looked so good against weaklings. And, of course, they're in revenge. Last year,
yes,
the Cougars defeated USC 30-27, a defeat that cost the Trojans a chance at the college football playoffs.
Yep, this kid's put up big numbers, though. 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 38 of 57, 34 of 51, 45 of 57. Complete 71% of his passes, although I guess you consider the competition in that one. Money time, play of the day. We are taking USC. Revenge at home. Big for Clay Helton. Got to get a win, and got to get something going on offense with JT Daniels. Laid the 3.5 with USC. Betting number 310. Play of the day. Let's stay hot. Friday night. We'll run through college and NFL coming up Thursday and Friday, and a week and a half left in the baseball season. We'll run through everything tomorrow. Sportsbet, betting insight today. All the betting news you need to know in less than 20 minutes. Low Shack in the Bag coming up next.